Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'm just doing a sit-down video with you guys, just speaking my mind about a topic. And today's topic is a highly requested one. It's my opinion on vegan activists. And I'm going to be using examples of vegan activists that I know of myself. So some of them I met in person, some of them I haven't met yet. So I'm going to be using three examples today. I'm going to be using Joey Carbstrong, James Aspey, and Earthling Ed. So these are, to my knowledge, probably the three most well-known vegan activists online. And I just, I've gotten so many questions about what my opinion is on vegan activism in general and what I think of these individual people and their efforts. So to answer the question, I think it's important to define activism. So by definition, I got the definition right here. Activist or activism is a person who campaigns to bring about political or social change. So I consider myself an activist because, that's exactly what I do, right? I'm trying to campaign or bring awareness in order to cause a change in our society and the way that we think about these issues relating to the environment, animal welfare, and all that kind of stuff. So I consider myself an activist. I always have. But, in the vegan community, people look to the guys specifically going to protests and, showing slaughterhouse footage as activists, while other people maybe are not considered as much of an activist as those. And that is, in my opinion, not true at all, because as long as you have the same goal and you're still focusing your efforts on, the goal of creating awareness about animal welfare and, veganism, you are still an activist. So I definitely consider myself an activist. It's just a different approach of doing things. And that is not because I dislike the activism that these gentlemen are doing at all. I actually highly admire the approach that they're doing. Of course, I, have my opinions and my philosophy in how I can bring the most value to the table. And, everyone's going to have different opinions on this. Everyone has their own unique set of skills that they can bring to the table to, provoke change in people's minds. So, first of all, I'm going to be completely honest. In the beginning, when I went vegan right after watching Earthlings, I really felt like, dropping fitness and, just going out and talking about these ethical issues and talking about factory farming, visiting slaughterhouses and documenting these things. I actually, I was dreaming about, putting on ski masks and, rescuing pigs and whatever. That's how passionate I was about it. Now, obviously, that would get me in trouble. I would go to jail for doing that. So I didn't go that route. It wouldn't be a smart idea for me to do so. And I also remember that since I already had fitness as a big part of my life, it was a natural kind of twist and spin to my kind of activism, and the most efficient way of me to promote this voice or this movement. It was through fitness and health. And don't get me wrong, for me, going vegan was all about ethics. And obviously, I wouldn't have done it if it wasn't possible to reach optimal health on a vegan diet. Because, it doesn't help caring for other beings if you're not able to sustain yourself and be healthy by not eating them, right? So I think that goes for everyone. Like every single activist who is all about ethics knows that you can be healthy on a vegan diet, because if not, there is no way anyone would go for this lifestyle. It's just not true that you would put a sentient animal's life before your own. That's not going to happen. We can think that we are that selfless, but if that were the case, we as humans would have died out a long time ago. We are always looking after ourselves and our own before trying to, share our empathy with other beings and creatures. So I thought that psychologically, and when I was really new to veganism, I experiment with different things, right? I experiment with going really hard on the ethical message for, I've made dozens and dozens of videos about that, about showing, footage and that kind of stuff. And they did well. For people who were, already vegan, they championed that kind of content, and they were really proud and motivated by that. And as a vegan, you automatically become more attracted to the ethical side of things, even if you go into it because of health. And when you see other people talking about the ethical stuff that you now understand, you get super pumped up about it and you feel motivated, and you really connect with that person talking about the ethical side of things. But to the outside person looking in and hearing these things, it's a little bit different, right? Because they don't have the awareness that you already have. They don't have the understanding, and they will take it as a criticism and as an attack on their own, way of living, on the deepest levels. And that is why over the years, I've talked less and less about ethics. And, I still do talk about it all the time, but in very subtle ways. And I've talked more about health, even though it's not the most important for me. Over the years, I've, increasingly started talking about health benefits and nutrition in terms of the vegan diet, so that people can, have a easier, it's easier for people to digest and understand and become interested in the lifestyle. So that's the approach that I've taken, and that doesn't mean that it's the best approach. It's just what's worked for me, and my personal voice has been more effective coming from a more, from a more side of health and even vanity, if you want to call it that, looking good, feeling good. Even though it's not how I feel personally and what's important to me, I understand that it is important to, the vast majority of people that come to my channel. So I use that as a tool to get people interested, and then I try to, throw in some nuggets here and there and get people interested in the other side of things as well. So it's just, different way of doing things. So first of all, I have not met Ed, or Earthling Ed. I've not met him in person, but I've met Joey and James. To be honest, I wasn't sure how they were going to be, because I've only seen a couple of videos of them doing street activism. And I saw a speech by James Aspey. He was a really good speaker. I remember thinking that he was doing a really good job. And Joey, when I started, he was really, I'm not sure if he started, that far back, but when I became aware of him, he was way more aggressive in his approach than he is now. And I remember not really connecting with it, because I understood how that would look like from, the other side, right? And so I didn't really think that it was a very effective approach, and that's my honest opinion of Joey when he started out. But over the years, I've seen him progress in terms of becoming more and more composed and more relaxed, more factual, and I think that he is way more effective now than he was a couple years back. And I probably he probably knows that himself as well. If not, he wouldn't be doing it. So same with James. I know that he's become more and more aware of the way that people put up their shields and defense mechanisms on, and he has also tried to work his way around that, and I think he's doing a fantastic job. I don't think James was really aggressive and hard to begin with. I do know that he has spoken about being a bit too aggressive and in people's faces before when he started out. So that's probably an evolution that he went through as well. And Earthling Ed, he also mentioned in a recent podcast that he, when he was, starting out with street activism and interviews, that he was, a little bit too, invested in his, or he let his emotions take over a little bit. I believe he said that he realized that some of the more pushy approaches that he was doing was pushing people further away from actually considering to change. And then when he switched his perspective and way of interviewing and talking to people, he got a lot more better results, and saw that people were more open to hearing his message. And same with Earthling Ed. When I first heard of him, he was not known as the vegan Jesus. He was pretty unknown, and someone sent a video of him, and I had the same initial reaction as I had to Joey, that he was a bit too much, a little bit too aggressive, and would probably be more, repellent to people than cause intrigue. So, and I didn't watch him for a long time after that, but recently, over the last 6 months or a year, I've been seeing a lot more of his stuff, and I just had to say that he has been doing such a good job. He's so articulate, so factual now, as opposed to emotional, and it's, yeah, like, I think he's doing a very good job. It's spot on right now. And this is not me saying that one thing is better than the other. I'm just trying to see things, and from the interviews that I see, I try to look at the person reacting to what people are saying, right, rather than just listening to the vegans arguing their points. I try to look at the reaction that people have, and you can see their faces shutting off, them going on autopilot, just agreeing with everything just for the sake of doing it because they feel super uncomfortable. So these are the remarks and things that I look for. And I've seen really positive changes and evolution in the street activism and interviews that people are doing, or these three guys have been doing, and it's been really positive. I have a lot of respect for them. I do admire them highly, and I do think it is a very important thing, because a lot of people think that because I'm not a fan of the super militant approach of going to supermarkets and having fake blood all over you and putting plastic around you, and just pretending that you're a piece of meat in the supermarket. Just because I don't like that, people think that I don't like activism in general, and people promoting the ethical side of things, and that's not true at all. It's just about, for me personally, I'm just for actual change, and that's what I support, right? So if I see something that I know for a fact is going to repel the majority of people and put them off veganism, and decrease the chances of them ever being open to it, then I'm going to be against it, because my mission is to introduce more people to the vegan lifestyle, and to allow people to think about these things. And if I see something that goes against my mission, I'm not going to like it. And I do think that these people going into restaurants and shouting about how what people are eating is murder, just psychology wise, it's not going to be beneficial. And it might help one person, but in the bigger picture, it's going to repel way more people and give people a negative picture about what veganism is and what people in the vegan community are like. You've probably seen online there is a lot of hatred and criticism and bullying from the vegan community and from the non-vegan people, like from the ketogenic movement or whatever. There's a lot of name calling and immature behavior online that really unfortunately is louder than the majority of vegans that are level-headed and normal, so to speak. So the issue becomes that these people that are very aggressive and bullies, basically, they kind of overpower the people who actually have a balanced approach, and that causes other people to see that, or gives off this illusion that the whole vegan community is negative. And I've been I think about this all the time, and sometimes, as you guys know, I just feel so embarrassed, not embarrassed, but like I just know how unproductive it is for the movement, that I want to distance myself and almost create a new label for veganism, just because this hatred and these immature people online just give a bad picture. Now, I've come to realize that is not the right way to go about things. I think the right way is to get the level-headed people to be even louder and overpower these militant, aggressive, hateful people. And these aggressive, hateful, or seemingly hateful people, they're not necessarily bad people, right? They're extreme people in all walks of life, and this is not something that you can escape, right? It's just part of it. But I think the vegan community has to come together and just like do a better job in overpowering that voice of hatred and bullying. And that is something that I've been thinking about a lot. And I think that these three activists that I've mentioned in this video, Joey, James, and Ed, are doing a fantastic job of trying to bring a more level-headed approach to it. Now, Joey is a more of the more in-your-face. He doesn't go easy on as easy on people, and I think that it's not a bad thing. I still think that the majority of people might be a little bit more offended than intrigued by his approach, but I think that his approach is very necessary as well, because it really brings a harsh reality. And like I've realized over the years, different approaches are necessary for different personalities and people, so all of them play a huge crucial role in this movement, as well as countless other activists and people who are trying to spread the message in different ways. Showing slaughter footage and really getting people to understand the ethical side of things and the reality behind buying meat and animal products is crucial, because without that I would never have turned vegan myself, right? And I needed that visual, I needed that reality check, and to be able to detach from my relationship with food and family traditions and culture. So we need everything in the movement, and I think that these activists are essential. It's crucial. And we as vegans need someone like that to look up to, because whether or not those people convert people or non-vegans is irrelevant, because they are such an inspiration to people who are already vegan. And it's important for us vegans to have someone like that to remind ourselves of what's going on, and to get ideas for how to talk to non-vegans about these ethical issues, and to get our facts straight when it comes to the ethical side of things. So these people have grown so much in terms of following, and their whole following is really hardcore passionate about the vegan message. So I guess to sum up this video, I think that activists or vegan activists are doing an amazing job. I think that we need more of them, but at the same time we need people that understand psychology, and whether they understand it or not in the beginning is irrelevant, right? Because you learn as you talk to more people. And I encourage people who just, get a lot of emotions going, which is understandable, knowing what's going on behind these, slaughterhouse, walls. I understand the frustration and the anger and that kind of stuff. But let's try not to undermine the movement by being too emotional and attached to the vegan ideology, because that can put us back. It can slow down the process of turning people to this lifestyle. And also remember that you're not going to convert people to a vegan lifestyle. You are not going to do that. I'm not going to do that, because all change comes from within, and everyone has to decide in their own minds to do it for themselves. You can be the catalyst and show them the information and make a good case, but at the end of the day they have to feel like it's their own decision and that it was their idea, right? So just have that in the back of your head if you're passionate about vegan activism, and do these psychological experiments. Like, instead of leaving hateful or negative or very judgmental comments online, just think about how that person would have reacted in real life if you verbally said those things in person. Try to use psychology to your advantage, and I think we'll be way better off as a movement doing that. So I just want to take a second to thank and acknowledge everyone that is proactively fighting for this cause, because as we know, it's an important one, and it's not going to go anywhere unless we put our best efforts forward to push for a better planet. And yeah, just remember that being vegan in itself does not make you a better person. We have to be understanding, be positive, be compassionate, and use psychology to our advantage to try to get people to get an idea in their own minds of making a change because they think that it's the right thing to do. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. Please leave a suggestion of what you want to see next, because I want to make these sit-down videos a lot, because I can do this all day. I have I have so many ideas in my mind, but I want to know what you guys want to see, because I think that this kind of communication is so important and it's kind of missing. And I've been missing it so much, by doing things online. Like, I always try to go play these psychological things and only make content that I think will be the best for the non-vegans to be interested in the lifestyle, that I also miss talking one-on-one with people who are already on the same wavelength, at least in terms of what you put in your plate. So let me know what you want to see. Leave a like if you enjoy this video, and yeah, I guess we'll see each other very soon. Peace out.